Welcome to the CURES digital show and podcast, where we explore the cutting edge of wellness. I'm Kara Sundlin. This episode is sponsored by the Center for Advanced Reproductive Services. So we're learning how we can use our hearts to calm our emotions. And we're actually learning about this high-tech tool, I've got it right here, to find our inner balance to ease stress and anxiety. And it's pretty cool because Howard Martin is here to join us now to talk a little bit more about heart math. So for those of us who want to combine our tech with our wellness, I know you've been doing this forever, but it sounds like a new thing. But you've actually had science to show how this works for decades, right, Howard?
We sure have, Karen. Thanks for having me on your program today, and welcome to everybody who's given their time and attention to listen to our conversation.
Yeah,
we go back a long way now, heart math. We started in 1991 formally and began to do research on understanding heart-brain-body communication and develop tools and techniques that we delivered in training programs in all kinds of different sectors and markets, everything from spiritual organizations to the police, to the military, to ecumenical organizations, universities, all kinds of training programs. And our research was giving us a way in which we could measure this heart-brain-body communication. And it was done through something called heart rate variability analysis. I know that's a mouthful, which means looking at our heart rhythms, not just our heart rate, but how the heart is beating rhythmically. And we were doing this with very expensive scientific equipment, and we decided that what would it be like if we could take this same type of understanding and put it in the hands of everybody, to make it affordable, to give everybody a way of looking at their heart rhythms and then training themselves to be in a more organized, synchronized, coherent state, which they could use to deal with their emotions. And that's what we did. And it's been a really interesting process.
Yeah, for those of our viewers who are watching on video, I want to show. So you've got this device right here, and that kind of clips right on your shirt, so it's near your heart. You put the other little sensor on your ear, and your science shows that the heart really plays a role in our mental health. How is that so?
Well, the heart sends signals to the brain and the rest of the body. Most people don't know that, but the heart is actually sending information. It's an information processing center in addition to being a cardiovascular organ. I'll give you one example. The heart actually has a very complex nervous system. It's studied through a medical field. It's called neurocardiology. And this nervous system in the heart is very sophisticated, and it sends signals to the brain that influence all the brain centers, especially higher brain centers. So the heart is actually speaking in a way, neurologically. And the question becomes at times whether we are listening or not. So as we learn to sort of harness and direct this communicative power that the heart has, it influences our emotions. It influences how we think, how we feel, how we perceive. And that's one of the big breakthroughs that our research showed many, many years ago, is that the heart was playing a role in how we process information, and how we think and how we feel.
So the empowering news about this is that when you're suffering from stress, anxiety, low-grade depression, feelings of overwhelm, like so many have, especially in the last 2 years, you have a little app on your phone, you use this, and you can get in sync and over time really learn a positive coping strategy that can help mitigate those feelings.
Yeah, there are techniques that we have at HeartMath. Some of those are in the app. Some of them are, like available for free on our website. There's a lot of information you can get about HeartMath, tools and techniques specifically designed and scientifically validated to help people deal with some of the things you just mentioned, Kara, like the anxiety we're feeling right now. There's a lot to be anxious about these days. We're faced with, with societal and global problems on a scale we've never seen before. And then we have our own personal issues to deal with. So a technology like this, the Inner Balance Trainer technology, is an assistive technology. It just assists us. You combine that with tools and techniques, whether they're heart math techniques or other type of techniques people benefit from, like meditation, for example. You use that along with the technology, and it gives you a way of looking at what's really happening inside your body. And that can be very empowering, very verifying, and it's a great way to use technology to better ourselves, not just to get information, but to really better ourselves as people.
Yeah, a lot of people are interested in trying to start a meditation practice or a mindfulness practice, but they often, I don't know if I'm doing it right, I can't shut my brain off, is this helping me? So using something like this device, you're gonna have that feedback where you watch on the app and you can actually see the changes happening within, and over time train yourself?
That's exactly right. You train yourself to hit what we call a new coherence baseline, When our heart and brain and body are communicating together really well, we go into a state called higher coherence. It's an optimal state. It's healthy. It's good for the nervous system, good for the physical heart, releases hormones into the body that are regenerative, like more DHEA and more oxytocin, all these wonderful regenerative hormones. And the technology trains you how to increase your coherence so you can experience all of that. I think one of the most interesting parts of it, though, Kara, is that what triggers coherence is the experience of regenerative, uplifting emotions. When we're being more appreciative about the things we have in life rather than complaining, we're going to be naturally more coherent. When we're showing some extra care or kindness to someone, we become more coherent. So it's physiology tied to our emotional state as well. So you use the technology, you learn to increase your coherence, you begin to access more of these wonderful emotional qualities that regenerate us, and then it makes it easier to experience those in their day-to-day lives, especially in the midst of the stress we often experience.
And a lot of us are noticing that our kids are really suffering, especially they say teens, mental health crises have gone up, visits the ER even up to 30% with that age group, especially since the pandemic. So this is simple, and kids like tech. So you're using this even with kids in school and seeing a big help with that?
We sure are. A lot of schools around the country and other parts of the world that use our technology with children. They do training with them on how to become more coherent. They using heart math tools and techniques and information to help them understand their emotions and then better deal with them. You're exactly right. There's an epidemic of emotional issues happening in young people today. It's a result, really, I think, of them living in a world that is so exposed, and the worldview that they're seeing is often so disconcerting. There's a sense of hopelessness that many of them have. Combine that with what they've all been through with the pandemic, with the isolation that they've had during the pandemic times and not being able to be with friends and not be able to attend school in many situations, and all of that tied together has created a host of mental and emotional issues for so many young people. We certainly acknowledge that at HeartMath, and we do a lot to support the development of young people through the educational systems and also through parents. I mean, the parents play the key role in all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the parents themselves are so stressed. They don't have as much time as they'd like to do what they want to do for their children. So we work not only with the kids, but also with the parents, all in an effort to try to facilitate these young people so that they can grow and mature in ways that are going to be healthy for them and productive for them as they move into the future.
Well, and most of us have a smartphone. So if you had this device, and let's say I wanted to use it and then teach my teenage daughter to use it, can more than one person use the device to train?
Absolutely. The sensor is neutral. I mean, the sensor plugs into your mobile device and you can put it on anybody. The sensor picks up your heart rhythms through, through the sensor that you attach to your earlobe. Then there's heart rhythms that are displayed through the app. And then there's what's called the coherence scores. And the scores show you how coherent or incoherent you are. And so the way I use it, I gamify mine. I want to have higher coherence scores. So I use mine all the time. I've used it this morning, just a little while before we were going to have to be on our show, moving into these afternoon hours, to carry that with me. And it's a great way to sort of reboot your system as you go through your day. And you just attach it to your ear. You can put it on your daughter's ear. Anybody can use the sensor, and anybody can benefit from seeing what's happening in the app. And as mentioned earlier, there are what we call guides in that app, meaning that we'll lead you through exercises through the app, tell you what to do, give you experiences. It's a wonderful experience to have. It feels good. And you mentioned earlier, it really does verify many spiritual practices or personal growth practices people have. It gives them something quantifiable that they can see the effects of what they're doing.
Right. And, some people, I think we're all interested in calming down, but for some, the idea of, oh, it's just in your heart or it's just in your head and you want that proof or you want that little something practical and physical to look at or to learn that you're doing better, this is going to track you, right? And you can see in real time. I guess there's a lot of biohacking devices like that. People are wearing glucose monitors to see how the food automatically impacts them. This is going to be, if you're having a really stressful moment, you would put this on, maybe do one of those brief exercises and you can watch your rhythms kind of calm down?
Exactly. Well, you mentioned there are a lot of biohacking devices out there now, and I think that's really a good thing. Some of the viewers right now might be saying, "Well, is this biofeedback?" Well, not traditional biofeedback. Biofeedback looks at brain waves. This is like heart biofeedback. It's looking at the heart-brain-body communication is what it's looking at. So it's a little different there. But the medical discipline underneath all this is called heart rate variability analysis, and our researchers really popularized that. Now there are other devices measuring heart rate variability. For example, I like to cycle. That's my exercise is cycling. And now in cycling, they're using heart rate variability analysis in the training of these professional cyclists, for example, showing them how their training is going, whether they're overtraining, whether they're undertraining. A lot of interesting information. So heart rate variability was something popularized or brought to the forefront of awareness by HeartMath. And so we just took it and turned it into something people could use, that would be easy to use. And we created our version of a biohacking device that's designed really to help people understand how to better regulate their emotions.
Which we can all use. And I love that it's simple and it works for any age. The idea of, that your heart has something to do with your emotions, I know is something new to most people, but I like that you put the heart, which people kind of think of this esoteric thing, and the math, the idea that you've blended these two things, the tradition of spirituality or self-growth or something you can't quantify with something you can quantify, because apparently we can quantify this.
That's right. If you think about it, this notion that a heart is intelligent has been around for thousands of years. It's been talked about for thousands of years. It's been sung about. It's been written about. If you go back, I can go back to literature 4,500 years ago in ancient Chinese medicine, talking about the heart being intelligent, pumping its vital rhythmic messages throughout the entire body. And then in society, we have this innate understanding of heart. When we point to ourselves, for example, where do we point? We point right here. We say things like, "Kara's got such a good heart. She does this wonderful show." Or, "That team plays with so much heart. That's why they win." So there's this sort of general understanding of what heart means. What we've done in HeartMath has made that more understandable. And we use modern science as a way to bridge that sort of innate understanding with something that was empirical. And then we took it a step further by creating technology to actually measure it. That's sort of the genesis of the progression of work that we've done here over these 30 years, which I'm real proud to say has reached many, many millions of people and impacted their lives in a positive way. And I think that's something we can be proud of here.
Yeah, I mean, you've helped schools, military, first responders. I know after the pandemic, I'm sure a lot of the nurses could really use something like this. So let me ask you this. How long, people will say, well, how long does it take to do the little exercise? And how long till I know if I'm reaping a benefit? Is there any science on about 2 weeks later, you're feeling a lot better, or any numbers you can give people motivation with?
I'll give you this. First of all, how fast it happens will be to the degree of meaningfulness that you try.
Okay.
Just like anything else. But within 2 or 3 weeks, most people begin to see a difference, or even less. Some people get an experience right when they begin to first use it. They go, "Wow, that's really different. I've never felt quite this before," right? We get that response. Behavioral change usually takes, about 3 weeks to change a habit, according to science. My recommendation is for people to use the Inner Balance Trainer in a way that fits their lifestyle. Everybody's got a different schedule, different kind of lifestyle. Using it for 5 minutes can help. Using it for 30 minutes is better. It just depends on how much time you have. For me, I use it first thing in the morning. I do about 15 minutes with my Inner Balance Trainer before I leave the house to begin to start my day, do all the things that I have to do, all the busyness that I have to deal with. And then I try to use it again if I have time right after lunch before I go back into round 2 of that day, right? Just 5 minutes just to reboot the system and get back into the game, in a more coherent place. And then sometimes I'll use it into the day. I want to close the day out, put the bookend on the day by making more contact with that wonderful intelligence the heart has and using my Inner Balance Trainer to assist me in that process.
Yeah, it's really a great option for people to, follow along. And I think sometimes, when you're sitting there, and I love guided meditations, those really help me, which I know we could use HeartMath with that. But for people who are new and wondering, is this helping me? It kind of gives us something practical to focus on, something physical, so we can see the results. And I think that can be really motivating for people.
Well, the term we use sometimes for that, Kara, is we encourage people to become their own self-scientist.
Yeah.
To try something, to use it, to experiment, to see what techniques work with it. As I mentioned, people use different techniques. HeartMath's got a whole suite of techniques, a whole world of techniques that we employ. But there are other things that benefit people. So use what feels right to you. Use the inner balance trainer as a way of seeing what's happening inside your body as you do it. And what does it feel like to you? That's the real benchmark, I think. Does this experience
Yeah.
feel good?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Something
I think that, when people first start this kind of, and many people might have had a meditation practice for a long time or they've gotten off of it, but we know, until you've tried it, then you experience it. It's probably what keeps you coming back, is that you realize, okay, I feel better. So that's really the goal, is you have this and it can help many people feel better. I want to let people know before we close out here, they can go to heartmath.com. They can follow you on Instagram at heartmath. This is pretty easy. People can buy it online. I know there's different prices. You had a sale a little while ago, but give folks an idea. It's not a huge investment. It is affordable for many people.
Yes, it is. And I would like to offer something to anyone watching that's free that I think would be very compelling, if I may.
Sure.
We created a cinematic learning course. It feels like you're watching a movie, but you're learning heart math, you're learning heart math science, you're learning the techniques, and it's called the Heart Math Experience. And you can find it on the heartmath.com website under the training tab. Now, we created this, and we initially released it in early 2020, and we were selling it. And then the pandemic came along, and HeartMath's founder, a man named Doc Schulter, said, look, we got to help people right now. I want you to give away the Heart Math Experience, or to give people something to watch while they're, being, locked into their homes, and they'll learn something that they can use to navigate these changing times. We put it out there for free, and we had like 600,000 people watch this thing.
Wow, that's great.
And, it's amazing. And so it's free for anybody who wants to go get it. It's like not just a dry training course. It's got beauty, it's got art, it's got an uplifting feeling to it, and you're learning valuable skills that you can carry forward. And I wanted to mention that today because I'd like people to have something for free. If you can afford to get an inner balance trainer sensor, wonderful. Please do. Go to heartmath.com for that as well. If for some reason you can, or you need to know more, get the Heart Math Experience for free and sit back and enjoy it. It's broken into modules, 9 modules, totaling about an hour and a half. And I think people would benefit from it.
Yeah, that's great. And you can learn a little bit more about what goes into, I know the idea is to teach people to respond from their best selves, right? With more compassion, with more peace, with more calm. So a great resource, heartmath.com. And thank you for letting people know about the free training as well. The Inner Balance Trainer also, you can see that on there. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we just want to give people as many tools as possible because when we start to master our emotions, certainly we can feel a lot better about life. So we want to thank you, Howard, for your time and for teaching us about heart math today.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Karen. I want to thank you for doing what you're doing, bringing information and assistance to people through this medium that you have. You're really good at it, and I want to thank you for your contribution to the world as well.
Oh, thank you. I love doing it. It's my pleasure, my blessing to do CURES Cures. And want to let everyone know you can watch many more episodes of CURES Cures right on the WFSB Plus streaming app. They're all saved there, so go back, find some topics that you're interested in, or the same thing. All of these episodes are streamed as a podcast, so you can download the CURES Cures podcast, find it wherever you like your favorite podcast, and follow me at Kara Sundlin on social media. I like to share this content there. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone. Be well.